Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining. We are thrilled to welcome to our webinar. My name is Yerkin Abdurrahim, and I'll be your host for this session. I'm not alone. I'll be hosting this webinar along with my amazing colleagues who are working behind the scenes to ensure everything runs smoothly. I'd also like to introduce my colleague, Nadra Kushpakova from Uzbekistan, who will be moderating the chat box throughout the session. Nadra will also be facilitating our Q&A session toward the end of the webinar. So please keep your questions coming as we go along. We'll do our best to answer as many as we can. And now, before we dive in, just a quick reminder to keep your microphones muted unless invited to speak. And feel free to use the chat box to engage and connect with others. Now it's time to introduce our esteemed presenter, Rosetta Bhagwandin from Guyana.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Just a minute, Rosetta. So the agenda of this session is as follows. We have an introduction. So then there will be guest presentation, Q&A session, and the last one is there will be some announcements.
Okay.
So let me introduce our speaker today. Rosetta Bhagwandin is from Guyana. She's a proud wife and mother, as well as a certified global English language educator, writer, and CDG course ambassador for the DEM-ED for Global Sustainability and Justice program in the UK. Her professional expertise spans a wide range of writing services, including content creation, fiction and non-fiction, freelancing, creative writing, ghostwriting, argumentative writing, persuasive pieces, and more, all rooted in the writing industry. Her esteemed achievements and professional accomplishments have gained international recognition, largely through her affiliation with the U.S. Department of State's online professional English network, Open program. As a proud alumna of the Open community of practice, Rosetta has successfully completed 31 English language courses. Among these is the prestigious GOC professional and academic course in academic writing, also sponsored by U.S. Department of State. Rosetta lives by two guiding philosophical mottos. Always listen to your inner voice, called intuition, and be the voice for the voiceless. The latter sentiment reflects her deep commitment as an animal rights activist. Welcome, dear Rosetta.
Thank you, Yerkin, for that beautiful and esteemed introduction. Thank you.
You are welcome. The floor is yours. You can start.
Okay. So, hello, everybody. As my fellow colleague Yerkin introduced me, I am, of course, a writer and a global English language educator. For the past 5 years, writing has become sort of a hobby and not so much of like a profession for me, because of the fact it becomes like, what should I say, like a norm of my daily routine where I practice various types of writing. But one of the most, what should I say, expertise format of writing is the fiction writing and the nonfiction, in a way that I use my intuition, my spiritual enlightenment to create, right, scenarios, characters, formats, and then I put all together, combine it, and I create a story, and I put it up there. So I think each and every one of us, as humans, we are blessed with some sort of inclination in writing. Some of us We have it to an extreme that it develops later on in life, which is like me, right? And some of us, we just have it, as a daily routine. But I truly, truly think that each and every one of us that walks this planet Earth has the ability to create writing as a hobby, as a format, as a normative of society. So today I'm going to try to explain the best of writing, how you can have it, how you can create it, and the origins of each type of writing, especially fiction and nonfiction. All right. And all questions and sentiments are welcome. I'll try my best to answer to the best of my ability. So here we go. So in times of what should I say, in the era before Christ, as we have it, in the BC times, in years, writing was developed by the people of Mesopotamia. Those were the people, some call them Sumitrans. They were the first type of people that walked this planet Earth, or so history has it. And they use writing as a form of communication in a way that they created little, what should I say, pictorial demonstrations with some signs added to those pictorial demonstrations. And they use it, created communication effects within each other. And if they wanted to transcend the message to other society, and that is what they call writing. So they were the first set of people that really created the term writing. Now, as time evolves, of course, we had those renowned scientists in the educational field. They developed it more. They developed writing more in a sense that they kind of structured it. They lay it out in educational strategies that we know now. So those things that the first set of people did, which were the Mesopotamians, they kind of transcend the concept of writing. And then we, as generation goes by and it comes to modern time, we develop it and polish it and create it to our liking. And that comes with technology now. But in times like when I was in school, let's say about 30 years back, I was in high school, we used books, right? When we had research or we had anything to create in English language or any other subject, we had to go to the library. In those times, we never had technology, right? So writing at that time, some 30 years back, was different. Now we have technology, so we can add writing with effects than to have somebody like me to stand in front of class and teach writing. So the concept of writing remains the same, but it just transcends into different teaching features and learning features because of time and the evolution of time. So I'll go ahead and explain the first type of writing and what you should do that I practice. And I think everyone has the ability to do it. So writing, it's for me, it's the combined knowledge spiritually and academically. I call that intuition writing. I guess I created that, I don't know, but it works so well for me. Where I put my thoughts, my visions, my dreams, of course, and my consciousness and unconsciousness into a realm of combination of pictures, definitions, and structured format, and I create my writing. And that happens mostly in the fiction part of it. All right. Usually one of the main focus and what should I say, and eye-catching format I use in all my writing, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, whether it's ghostwriting, freelance writing, any form of writing, I always add a picture. Whether I do a picture of a collage, whereby a collage you have several different pictures and you combine, you make a what do you call it? You make a poster of several pictures and you add it. You make a collage, right? And I add that at my writing. It becomes like the topic. So when the reader sees the picture right there and then, it catches their eyes, right? They wanted to know what else goes on about that picture, all about that picture. And I think that is one way that we as teachers, educators, writers need to add. You need to add a picture so that your story, the origin of your writing, becomes so eye-catching that the reader just needs to go on and they want to know till to the end. And I strongly advise in all constitution, whether it's teaching and learning, always add a picture. It does not necessarily have to be a printed picture, a picture from technology. It has to be not so nice. It must be a sketch, whether you just sketch it with a pencil, whether you just do a drawing, picture always tells a story. So that's the first and foremost of the iconic writing format that I would tell anyone to do. Anyone. Is there any questions pertaining to my intro and what I just said? Or should I move on?
Yeah, dear colleagues, if you have any questions, you can ask in the chat box, and our chat moderator, Nadra, will address these questions to the presenter. So, do we have any questions, Nadra? If no, Rosetta, you can move.
Yes, so far we haven't.
You can move on.
All right. So I wanted to ask Yerkin and Dira, my two esteemed fellow colleagues, do you guys have writing as a single subject in the curriculum, in the school's curriculum in Central Asia?
Yeah, the writing is, as for me, writing is I would say the most complicated part of teaching English, as for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. As for me, I myself sometimes can struggle with writing. Yeah.
Well,
that's
as long as I'm
quite,
in Guyana, go ahead.
Yeah, that's quite difficult for me. So I would say I'm not a master at writing. Yeah.
All right. I'm seeing somebody here. Kanye, am I pronouncing your name right? Sorry if I don't. But I'm saying you say yes, writing is a part of your school's curriculum.
Yeah. It's a part of our curriculum, yes, and we teach writing.
All right. Well,
but for secondary school, we won't wholly focus on the writing. We like a teacher, like a general English, reading, listening, but of course for IELTS, for TOEFL, for those who are going to take TOEFL and IELTS exams, of course they mostly focus on writing, yes, because they write a lot of essays.
Okay. Well, let me share something with Guyana. As everybody knows, Guyana, it's the only country in South America that speaks English as first language. All right. Now, in our schooling system here in the primary department, in the primary levels of schooling and secondary, there is something called composition or writing. Those are single-handed subjects. It comes to a point where the very first topic of writing in Guyana, it's myself. All right, where you just start. Hi, I'm Rosetta Bhagwandin. I'm a girl. I'm in grade 2. That's the essence of writing in Guyana. And honestly, I think what should I say? The cultureness of writing should really, really be extended, not Guyana only, worldwide. Because writing is a language by itself. All right. I am speaking to you, Yarkin, Nadira, my fellow colleagues. I'm speaking, and as I speak, you can write what I'm saying. Isn't that so? Right? After my hour of this session of telling you my essence of writing and the history of writing, etc., you can then take the synopsis of what I concluded for the entire 45 minutes, and you can write something for me, right? So writing is a form of language by itself. So we have French language, we have the English language, we have the Spanish language, and then to me, we have the writing language. If I put, this is a pen, all right? And if I tell you, look at this pen and write 10 sentences about this pen, I'm quite sure you guys can do it. This is the eye-catching part of it. I want 10 sentences pertaining to this pen in a fictional writing and 10 sentences pertaining to this pen in a non-fictional writing. So it's 20 sentences in two different contexts. All right. And then you can see how your brain works. Our brain are so blessed. And if we use our brain correctly and formatively to write, you might be so amazed of yourself. I'll tell you a story. Within 5 years, I started the open program in 2021 because my father passed away with COVID. And, you know, he passed away in February, and I think I joined the open program in the March 2021. And I joined it as a way of getting solace, comfort, knowing the fact that I did not get to see my father when he passed. He cremated and I did not get to see him. And from then to now, 2025, I'm still with Open. I have become a self-taught or self-paced, as you call it, in 2021, doing multiple English language courses by myself, self-paced, and I gradually become an Open alumni. All right. And I think that inclination and that gift of me becoming a global writer was from God. It was like a blessing in disguise. I joined Open because I was stuck at home. We could not have gone anywhere. The world was so rampant with COVID. I was so heartbroken. COVID was there to help me when I started. And today I'm a global writer. All right. Within 5 years, I'm a global writer. Another thing I would like to say to the public and to my fellow colleagues. Do you know you can write? You can do writing by actions. You don't have to necessarily have a pen and paper, or you don't have to sit in front of a computer or your smartphones and type. Actions can be demonstrated in the format of writing. And I'll tell you how. If I stand in front of my class and I do an action of 4 emotions, when I'm crying, when I'm smiling, when I'm kind of lost, and when I'm so angry, those are 4 emotions that we as humans display. No talking. I'm just crying. I'm smiling. I'm angry. And I'm lost. You know, like when you're just lost. Good. Now, I'm going to ask my viewers, my students, to in return use their actions and demonstrative writing format to answer me back. And how would I get that answer back? Not by writing, by giving me back the demonstration of actions, right? So that is another format that we use writing as. For me, I think writing has become so much of a norm in my daily routine. I'm a wife and a mother. I'm a pet activist. Um, I go in my garden when we don't have rain in Guyana. And all those things, my daughter, she's finishing. She has 2 more days um to finish high school. All those chores, those humanistic normative what should I say? Um attributes. I put them together and I create writing. Um if I go to the backyard, well, in Guyana, most of the homes in the countryside, we have like gardens, orchards, we plant vegetables, fruits, everything, flowers. And if I pick something from my garden, I look at it and right away, I would want to create a story with that. All right. But prior to this, 5 years back, it was not like that. But thanks to America, the change of curriculum teaching and the change of culture, normative, what should I say? Changing my context and my way of doing certain things have totally changed for 5 years. And prior to that, I was stuck. I was stuck as being a normal teacher, going to school normally, teaching the normal English language, where you have the classification of verbs and adjectives, teaching how to do sentence form. I never knew I had such a gift. So as I was saying initially in my intro, is that we all have that ability to do something. But I think time is the teacher best, for some of us. And for me, I have become so, what should I say, so blessed and so um, good at writing that I need to share my formats. And I really want everybody to believe in themselves. Take some time. After my webinar today, I would like for you to just sit and just write 5 sentences about yourself. Turn that 5 sentences about yourself into a fictional format now. All right? Make yourself turn into an invisible character and write upon that. To me, writing is based on 2 things. It's based on in the fictional way and in the non-fictional way. All right? Putting ideas together, putting thoughts together, putting pictures together, putting viewpoints together and create a message. Right? Create the language of writing into a message format. And you will see the beauty of it. My purpose of writing truly developed and it became so successful because of my professor, Sarah Davis from Iowa University. She taught me so much of what writing is all about, the context of writing that I didn't even know they had. I created a curriculum, a school's curriculum based on academic writing. And I think I got first out of the 20, I'm not sure, out of my 20 fellow colleagues. All right. And I did that not knowing how to do it because, as I said, Guyana does not have the scope and the capabilities and the management of what writing is all about. And I did it and I passed it and I become so successful because of her, that is why I'm advocating for writing to be taught in the primary, in the secondary, and in the tertiary level of Guyana and in the Caribbean. And that is the only way I think we would see the massive escalation and the massive turnout in high percentage of the pass rates of English language and English B, which is literature. We need to teach how to write. Writing is not the formality of just teaching. Writing is taking anything that you get or you have or you think about and put it into context and having someone to understand it and to analyze it. It's not about formality to me. It's not about niceness. It's not about how you program, how you put it down. No. It's about getting your reader's attention and to get your reader to share the same sentiments as you did. That is why when people read my stories, my editorial, my synopsis, my summaries, they can relate to it. All right, because I write based on what I think, what I know, and what I visualize in my mind. And that is where my intuition comes in. You know, spirituality is the way of showing us the right path and the open path for certain doors in our lives, you know. You know, sometimes in our life there's some scenarios and situations that we don't understand. We can't understand it, and we would question why this happened. You know, in times of unfortunate happenings, you know, we would say, God, why would this happen to me? You know, but if we go through that phase, and if we understand that we should go through it, and then we should write, and we should manage, and we should um extract a synopsis from that situation, I think our lives will be much better and calmer. Because everything that we do, day and night, within that 24 hours, as a human being, as an individual, it tells a story of who we are, of what we know, and what we want the world to know. So that is why I would love to, you know, for my fellow colleagues and my readers and my viewers to use their intuition. They have it. We all have it. And write, create from it. And that is when you will become so powerful that everything you do, you would want to use that intuition. I'll tell you a story. I would be sleeping in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day, and I would just get up and go and write. You know why? Because I got that intuition. I dreamt of something, or I had a vision, and I would immediately open my eyes and get up, and I'll go and put it down. And from that, I construct a story to tell to the world. All right. So please, simple.
Yeah.
You know, just sit and think. Create something in your mind, or if there's something in you know happening in your life that you don't have an answer to, write it down, draw it, and from that, look at it. If you have to look at it about 10 times, it will tell a story. All right. So I'm seeing my colleague Yerkin attentive to the camera, and I can sense that you have a lot of questions, Yerkin. Let me hear.
Yeah, no, you know, we are on the same community of practice, Rosetta, and I'm very happy about it. You know, you are writing a lot of things like philosophical things. Now I know where do you take inspiration? You know, you take from everywhere. You touch,
Yeah.
you see, you imagine, you see it. Maybe you see it on your dreams, in your dreams. So now I see where you take these inspiration, and that's great.
Thank you. That is why I'm saying the fact that most of my work, I should say almost all my work, everybody can relate. A child can relate, a toddler can relate, a human being of any class, classification, age, creed, culture, gender, anybody can relate to my story because it's things that happen in my life, you know? And sometimes it you know, we need to loosen up, let go of this professionalism in teaching, this academical way of book and paper. Just have a carefree class. Just take your students out to a trip. Take them to the park. Take them somewhere out of that classroom. Let let them relax. Let them free their minds. Because let me tell you, everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has a story to tell, and a positive one and a negative one. And every story that I put out on my social platform, I hope I help and I render some sort of solace, um, uh, empathy, or even happiness to my readers. I just hope that. And I leave that legacy to my daughter to continue, because she was awarded as one of the best English language student in her country last year, in her school. So I'm hoping she has 2 more days to finish her finals, and I'm hoping she takes my path, you know, to continue my legacy. So my bottom line is for writing, academic writing generally is what I was taught, and I mastered that. But then from that, I derived academic writing into intuition writing, because I find intuition writing is what each and every one of us has and could do and should do. It's a form of therapy also, right? It's a form of therapy. I think sometime last month we had a topic, I'm not sure, a subtopic on the America webinar where they talked about self-talk. Can you remember that? Where you talk to yourself?
It's where you have shared on our COP, the topic.
No, it was on America webinar. Yeah. Okay, well, I'll give you the gist of it. I think the topic was self-talk, right? For me, I don't have friends. I don't keep friends. You know, I master my own ability to work in my home. I'm a wife, a mother, and a writer and a fellow colleague in my home for 5 years. And I never thought I would have done that. From my home, the comfort of my home, as I speak to you right now, Yerkin Nadir, my fellow colleague, and the entire world. I wish if we had this importance of self-motivation and of self-taught way back before COVID, you know, but God has his own plan. And so from academic writing that I did with Iowa University, Sarah Davis was my professor. She did an amazing job. She made me somebody who I thought I would have never been. I was so polished in doing editorial because when I was 16 and I finished school, I started doing journalism. I joined one of the leading at that time media company in Guyana, and I started doing news broadcasts. And then from there, I started teaching English. And from there, I started to train agents how to interact. And all my job, I did communication techniques with. But here's the gist. At 40, this is the best one. I use my inclined intuition to create my stories, to work with. And I think with that, I have sent a message out to the world that they can do it, anybody can do it. And it's like a self-taught language in your own personal curriculum life. I create something that I know or I thought it would have never happened. And that is intuition writing. And from that, all other writing I find falls on. All right. So I just wish if I advocate to add intuition writing in the school's curriculum or in the tertiary curriculum, it would be accepted. Because I think the narrative of having professionalism in teaching needs to be eradicated. Not totally, but it needs to be shifted and bring the layman terms and the the freelance way of having people to freely be, think, and to do the things that they are blessed with, than to follow that stringent aligned curriculum every day. So I just hope I get my advocacy to have intuition writing and teaching on the school's curriculum. So I've said a lot. I know there should be a lot of questions. All are welcome. Let me hear.
Yeah.
I'm here to answer.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Now, Nadra, do we have any questions?
We have messages from our colleagues. The message is from Zarina Mirza. I would like to know if there are any links to those who Global writings, I'm really interested in their reading. And the
links. Mm-hmm.
Yes, she wants the links about the global writing. And the next message is how to use our intuition to write a story.
All right. So
and then
thank you.
Yes, and to have from Zarina Mirza, Steve Jobs once said that intuition is main thing in starting business, but first you need to develop it. I wonder how to do it. We can also use intuition in writing. Next one is Steve Jobs went to India to develop his intuition and it worked. Thank you, Zarina.
Thank you, Nadira. So, all right. So if I understand correctly, one of the questions is how to use your intuition. Is that so?
Yeah, that's
right?
Yeah, how to use institution for writing. Intuition for writing, sorry.
All right. So intuition is the way of thinking in one's mind. All right. It's the way of thinking and of sensing something that will happen or has happened or should happen. It's an inclined thinking. It's something that pops up in your brain, in your mind, all of a sudden, right? So, what I think that we should do or you should do to practice intuition writing is to, let's say that you have a dream. All right. If you go to sleep today and you wake up in the morning and you had a dream or you thought of something in your quiet moment, when you get up, you write what what you saw or you envision in your mind. All right. So that is intuition. Intuition does not have a formal way of writing. It's something that pops up in your brain that shows you a picture. It shows clarity of a message that you need to carry out or you need to put out. All right. And it can be in a format of drawing as well, or it can be in a format of sign language as well. It does not have to be writing physically on pen and paper or on your smartphone or laptop. So I think intuition comes in time with some persons, but to be sure of your blessed intuition knowledge, what you can do is to, when you get up in the morning, if you dreamt of something, write it down, draw it down, or if you thought of something, or you have a sense that something will go, some days that you would get up, or you have this heavy feeling in you that you just know that there's something about to happen in your life or something, you have either a soothing feeling, a happy feeling, or a kind of a down low feeling, a sad feeling. Those are forms of intuition, all right, in our humanistic life, in our mind. And those things I take and create contents with it, all right? So do not be alarmed if you try to polish and to put intuition into a context of professionalism. No, it's not like that. Have a dream. When you have a dream, of course, we all dream from time to time in the nights or day whenever we take a nap. When you are awakened, write it down or draw it. All right. If you feel that sometimes something will go wrong, you just have a heavy stomach or you just feel so uneasy or you feel so happy, those are intuitions as well. Write it down. Write the date down. All right. And from that, you follow the paths of if it would come true. Another thing with questions, Nadira. The second question, can you please read that back for me, please?
Okay. How to use our intuition to write a story.
Oh, okay. That is what I just explained. And the one after that.
And the next is Steve Jobs once said that intuition is main thing in starting business, but first you need to develop it. I wonder how to do it. We can also use intuition in writing.
Oh, Okay, so I guess the first and the second question basically are the same. But as I said, I will be creating a teaching session of intuition itself. And from that, I will tell how to do it, when to do it, why to do it, and how to combine all those doings of intuition that one has and make it into a writing format, a story, a synopsis. So when I have those dates and those times clarified, I'll put it up on my social platforms and, you know, you guys can join. But let me say this, I am also an SDG, all right, course ambassador for Guyana. That is with Sustainable Development Goals, right, from the UK, Cambridge. And out of 17 goals, I advocate for two, which is goal number 2, quality education, and goal 16, peace, justice in the justice system. Those two goals I write upon mostly also, and it goes in my advocacy. I write because I find in recent times of the modern times that we live in, education, the quality of education and the justice system, the laws that govern each country in totality of the entire world are just dropping. You know, the gist of morals in society are just declining. And those two SDG goals, if you check all my writing, fictional writing and those two goals are what creates my writing, because I find those two goals prevalent in all society, in all countries, and all way of life. Quality education and justice system, the laws of each country, the laws of the world, and the quality of education is slowly declining. So what should I say? As an ambassador, I do write and I advocate for those two goals on my social platform. There is a writing website called Medium, right? And academic writing. Those two websites, if you go there, you will see my work. If you go on Liking, I don't know how many of you have Liking, you will see my work. If you go on my Facebook, I will start to extensify my writing on my Facebook, Rosetta Bhagwandin. But one of the best things is with the Medium website. If you go there, the majority of the writings are intuition writing, spirituality writing. So you guys can join it and you will see a variety of work from various authors, writers, doctors, educators, students, and you'll find a majority of writing there. So I hope I answered the question, Nadira. Is there any other questions? Is there any other question from you directly, Nadira?
Yeah, Rosetta is on our Facebook page, on Open Central Asia Interest Community Facebook page. So after uploading these video recording on our Facebook page, if you have any questions, please, you can address your questions on Facebook page. I'm sure Rosetta will be glad to answer all your questions, and will share links and maybe materials, writings, and everything she has on her arsenal. So you are very welcome, dear colleagues. Please join our Facebook page, and you can ask questions under the uploaded video. Okay, yeah, you know, Rosetta, we have very, like, we want to listen to you, like, with pleasure for a long time, but you know, our time is limited, so we have some time for announcements. Dear colleagues, again, Rosetta on our Facebook page. So if you have any questions, please feel free to address your questions, and I'm sure she will answer your questions. Rosetta, thank you very much. You are amazing. You know, now I see where you take, as I mentioned before, where you take inspiration how you do these writings, like philosophical writings that I like admitted that yes, this is quite like complicated for me to understand some philosophical things. So yeah.
Can I just interject there, Yarkin, please?
Yeah, you are welcome.
All right.
Rosetta, you can stay here. I'm going to make some announcements for our teachers from Central Asia.
Wonderful.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Hi, teachers. And I'm from Uzbekistan. I really appreciate your all writing your words, your sentences, your ideas. And I think it is the most important skill for our four skills, writing, speaking, between among us and among them. And I really appreciate your webinars. Thank you for your information about all writings.
Thank you, Nargiza.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, dear colleagues, I'm going to make some announcements here. So we have 2 webinars ahead in June. So then we are going on vacation. Unfortunately, we won't have any webinars in July and August, but we are going to have the first ever mini conference on the Open Central Asia Regional Interest Community. Our next webinar special event, our ELF, English Language Fellow in Kazakhstan, with Nancy Lindberg, she's going to present on using tabletop board games in the language classroom. So join on June 13th, 6 p.m. Tashkent time. And the last webinar, so we are going to wrap up the month with a guest expert webinar with Abdulkhalik Sabur from Tajikistan. He's going to present on empowering English language educators with AI tools. So join on June 27th, 7 p.m. Tashkent time. Now, as I mentioned before, we are going to have a wonderful conference, Open Central Asia mini conference, whereas there will be 5 presenters from 5 Central Asian countries. So we have defined it like a majority parts of presenters. So we are working on them. So please join us on August 11th at 9 a.m. Tashkent time. So it's going to be great. So if you want to apply and if you want to be part of our open community of Open Central Asia interest community, please apply for these segments. I'm sure Nadra has already shared these segments, the links. Central Asia Voices, Alumni Spotlight, Educator Connect special webinar. You can share your teaching tips each week. So then you can also apply for our guest expert. You can also scan these links, QR codes, Facebook page. We have YouTube channel and a WhatsApp group for the open alumni from Central Asia. That's it for today. Yeah. Thank you, dear colleagues, for joining. Thank you, Rosetta, again for presenting for our community. So we will be very happy to see you again someday with your writing that related to your topic writing. So I'm sure you will have a lot of things to share with us.
Immense gratitude to you, Yarkin, for having me and the entire Open Central Asia. It's a pleasure. Thank you. I'm honored.
You are welcome. You are welcome. Okay, dear guests, dear teachers from Central Asia, thank you so much for joining us. Please stay tuned for our next webinars. So we have 2 more webinars ahead. then we'll go on vacation. See you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.